The sergeant looking up, our heroes bravely answered yes, and then they stood him up. He jumped right out into the blast, hysteric line on hook. He ain't gonna jump no more. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 4th annual Veterans Day stream. Great to be here. I've got my friend Fax on. And it looks like I State the Obvious is here, which is great. A few others will be hopping on in a second. Thank you to John from Scranton for setting this up and getting us ready to go. So obviously we're starting out here pretty high energy. It's a Monday. It's a tough day for one of these things, but I appreciate people hopping on. I'll be setting out or posting the link to the GoFundMe here in a moment. We raised a few $100s for Wounded Warriors last year, and all time we're at about $1,000 over the last couple of years. So we'll just figured if we're going to do something like this, we may as well have a good cause to send some money to. So don't feel obligated, but if you want to send a few bucks, I'll post a link in the chat here because I'm, typical military. I procrastinated starting, and the link from last year's not working for the GoFundMe, so I'm making a new one simultaneously here. So I'll continue to vamp. Hopefully somebody else will start talking, and then I can get that going. So yep, good to be here. And yeah, pretty crazy. This is the 4th year that we're doing this. It was just something that a couple of us decided to put together a couple of years ago. John has produced it from the beginning, made that very cool introduction a couple of years ago that we continue to use. It's just a nice chance for people to hop on. Certainly don't have to be a veteran to join. We'll also put the link to join here in the chat as well. And if people want to hop on there, they're welcome to. Just a chance to kind of come in and shoot the breeze. If you're a veteran, if you're active duty military, reserves, whichever force, Air Force, Space Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, even the Coast Guard, we'd love to have you on to chat. Just come on in, share some sea stories, and we'll have a good time for a little bit. Not gonna lie, I'm freaking dragging, so hopefully we can get a little energy injected into the stream here. Hello there, Alice. How are you? Alice Shattuck, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't hear you, but I'm not sure if that's just me. Looks like you might be muted. Oh, and looks like Tom is on as well. Can add him on.
Yeah, he walked out of the room. Hang on.
Oh, okay. No worries. How's it going? You guys just record Burn Barrel?
Yeah, we just finished the Burn Barrel, and yeah, so sorry to do it like this, but otherwise we cause an echo if we both put in audio. So
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we just did Burn Barrel. I am wearing my legitimate vintage. I found this at a at this weird what was that thing, Tom? A flea market or something. That thing. Anyway,
something that happens every week in Ipswich.
And this guy had all this army stuff that he was selling, like a yard sale kind of deal, whatever.
Yeah,
we got it at an estate sale, but anyway, he had these 2 wool shirts that are legit World War II army shirts, and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever, so I bought them from him. So this is an actual army shirt from World War II.
Very nice. I'm impressed.
That's my Veterans Day fit.
I like it.
I have
They didn't let people my size into World War II.
They have never met anyone as large as you, actually.
No.
Everyone was a little smaller back then too, I think, in general.
Yeah. Great. It was a great place, though. This place in Ipswich that's They have Civil War guns with bayonets and stuff. Don't be in the Civil War. That was a steely, cold, bloody thing, man. The weapons are freaking ridiculous.
Well, I just can't even imagine. Like, one thing about, the military now is that, yeah, there's obviously it's not necessarily a lot of fun. But at the same time, like there are diversions. If you're on a ship, there's movies you can watch. You can read a book. There's running water. Of course, obviously, if you're out in a bivouac or something and you're in the Army or Marine Corps and you're out in the field or the desert, it's not quite so nice. But even then, you still have some of the comforts from home, wherever you are. And you look back at some of these old movies, war movies, and even I was watching the Kane Mutiny the other day, with
Mm.
Humphrey Bogart, and I mean, just an absolute amazing movie. And it's funny they all just you know it's like, what the heck did they do all day? I know they're in the middle of a war, but it's like the most fun you ever had was like writing a letter or getting a letter. It's you
Right.
at least in modern times you can check the internet, and you've, like you said, you've got modern weapon systems. You've got 3 hots and a cot. And just yeah, back then, just I mean, so many people just got sick and died just from hypothermia and not having proper shoes, and your shoes would get wet or your socks would get wet, and you were done for. So it's definitely I think
Well,
war
That was the thing
it's still
they
not
said
fun,
in
but it's
Vietnam.
better than it used to be.
trench foot.
Trench
In
foot?
Vietnam?
Yeah. That was big then. That didn't seem like a good one to be in either, Vietnam.
Yeah, rainy as hell. They're jumping around. Those leg traps and stuff. The tunnel rats, like that was tough. Yeah,
But
I don't like that
thank
one
you,
either.
veterans. Great day. Do we have a GoFundMe link yet, or what? Are people
I'm
donating?
actually I'm pulling that up right now, Alice. I tried to use, because I'm lazy. I tried to use the one that I used the last 3 years, but I think it finally shut me out. I think GoFundMe said, "Dude, you keep coming back to this old thing you created in 2021." So time to make a new one. So I'm trying to sort of multitask here a little bit. So what was the major topic on the burn barrel today?
Seth Moulton.
Interesting. Yeah.
What else did we talk about? A little more like lib meltdowns. That's good. I mean, like we have to touch on it. It's too good.
Right.
Is Moulton is he still getting creamed by his own party?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
they're wrecking him. They hate him.
It's a great move though on his part. I mean, it's the only move really. It's the move that gets him to either have a gig on TV or a bigger office, or it gets him something. It's the only move to make, or else he should just go back to being a lawyer or whatever he is.
It's an incredibly
Yeah.
wild reaction to just saying like maybe people who started off as guys shouldn't be on girls' sports teams.
Yeah, it's crazy how novel that concept is for some people. I just think there's yeah. The difficult thing is, as soon as you step in that, as soon as you go in that direction, people are. But I've heard now a few. Who was the lady on CNN that was saying the other day? Was doing the breakdown on why the Democrats lost, and she got into the pronoun thing. She's like, how silly is it that people are putting
Mhm.
she, her, or he, him in their emails, and it sounded like he actually said a lot of the similar things that she did. And I just remember the other CNN people looking at her like, whoa, where did this come
Well,
from?
and there's people mad about like Latinx. They've actually done studies that show that Hispanics shifted more to Trump in areas where people were using Latinx more than other areas. Like the data shows that Hispanic or Latino people, like however they want to define themselves, absolutely hate the term
Mhm.
Latinx. They
Yeah.
find it literally offensive. It butchers the Spanish language. It's like they hate it. Only like 2% of Hispanic or Latino people use the term Latinx. Like it's absolutely toxic. And yet there are still people on the left who are like, I can't believe we're abandoning this language. How terrible is it? Like, yeah, you should abandon stuff if people say they hate it. And
Yeah, if they're the ones who are actually offended by it, because it doesn't take into account their actual individual culture, right? It just kind of groups them all together. Isn't
yeah,
that?
totally. Native
Yeah.
Americans voted 65% for Donald Trump, which is
It's indigenous people.
Right. Yeah, they love
Hey,
him.
Jake.
They love him.
Yeah.
Whoa, this
Morning,
looks
Jake.
weird, dude. Look at this.
Whoa, you're like invisible.
Chroma key is. You look like the transporter on the original Star Trek.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sparkles in a glass of water,
Yeah, sexy, huh? No, it's just a green screen, and this is a stupid jacket. But what are you gonna do? No. So, what was your argument? Why the Democrats aren't pussies?
Is that my argument?
I'm a Democrat. I'm a self-hating Democrat.
Well, why are you a Democrat? Where are you from, Freddie Lynn?
Oh, you think I'm Freddie? That's
It's-
cool.
you're not- oh, it says
No,
Wags.
that's the comment that's on the bottom.
Oh, I'm
is
sorry
from
about that.
Wags.
It says,
That's
yeah.
coming in from YouTube. Tom's a boomer.
I
in
don't know.
spirit.
I don't
That's
know.
cool.
Thomas.
That's cool if you think I'm Freddie. You
Well,
know?
what is it?
But
Where's your name? What is?
my name's Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah,
Well,
that's me. That's me. I'm Dr. Darth.
Dr. Darth,
think
okay.
It's not set up.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
set up to have.
Sorry about that. We
Yeah.
didn't have this when I was coming up. I'll be dead soon, and you won't have these delays.
No. I don't want you to be dead. I don't want you to be dead. Gosh, dang it. But yeah,
So
Wags,
Jake, did you thank a veteran today, Jake?
I thanked a group of bikers, and I knew that they were actual veterans. Well, I saw two of like the anchor tattoo. So I said, "Thank you, gentlemen," and yo, Sig, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And yeah, no, my dad's a veteran. I'm all for it. Not trying to make a mockery of this show. Here to listen.
Well, we appreciate that. I'm glad you
My
could
grandfather's
glad
a
you could
Navy
jump on.
veteran.
What was that, Alice?
My grandfather's a Navy veteran. He
Oh,
served
that's
in
right.
the
Yeah, I think we
and
discussed
in
that.
the Korean War. Yeah.
In the Korea, not a war, believe it or not. It's conflict.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's just it doesn't make sense that Congress gets to name what's a war and what's not a war.
That's true. Have they actually had any official declarations of war, like ever, or is it just these like authorizations for use of military?
Not since World War II, I think, right?
Not since
Wasn't World War II the last one.
They had no.
So
No,
yeah, so
Vietnam. No, Vietnam was the war.
okay. So yeah, so we just don't like.
But
we
like
just
Grenada and
on
like
that one.
Guam. like
Yeah.
that.
They don't declare wars anymore.
Danny, did you tweet out an actual link, or did you just send it to us?
I'm about to tweet it.
Okay.
This GoFundMe's making me write like 200 words describing
really?
this.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I just
use
don't have the
AI
brain-
for that shit. That's
I
it.
don't have the brain power for that right now. Well, it has like a
Why
built-in
you use
AI, but I think
AI?
I didn't.
Ask Claude, dude.
Well, I've got my
Go to OpenAI.
yeah, I'm logged in here.
There you go.
I know this is really
Just give it a little bit of a prompt, and then when you get it back, you're probably gonna hate it, and then you're just gonna say,
I really don't. I don't even care what it says. It literally won't let me create the fundraiser until there's 100 words in there.
Well, yeah, I know. I did that to try and get. I started a GoFundMe for what, a new microphone, and it was a $10,000.
How much money did you raise?
Zero. I think it probably would have been negative if it could have been, you know?
So neither here nor there, but Vietnam was in fact not a war. It was a conflict, just like Korea, also a conflict.
Really?
Yeah, these were escalations, and I guess that makes sense too, considering like for us, for the United States, these were escalated foreign conflicts that we dabbled in a little bit, and then dabbled in more, and then dabbled in more.
But that's
But I don't like. It was always I always heard Korea conflict. I never heard Vietnam conflict. I always heard Vietnam War.
I think it's a matter of how whole cloth.
What about the Cold War?
Money. Cold War was
Is
not
that
a
a-
war. It was just a name
That's
for
not a war.
That was just the name for standoff. But World War II was definitely a war because there was going to be open-ended.
Oh yeah. That was definitely a war, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like Hitler and shit. Yeah, that was a war.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll ever declare war again like they did before.
Yeah, they've given up on that power. They're
what
just
was-
going to let the president
World
do
War
it.
One was Franz Ferdinand, right?
It's Alice's people.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
you're
Serb-
part of
a
the
Serb-
Austro-Hungarian Empire.
I'm a Serb.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
right. You guys have good basketball players. You have really good basketball players.
They
That's
do, and the
true.
women are good looking too, which is excellent.
Yeah, for a while there was like a hockey player on the Bruins too. He came to my church a couple
Lucic,
times.
right?
Yeah. There you go.
Do you go to like a specific like
A Serbian church.
a Serbian church?
They're
Is
like
that
the
is that when you have like do you like my grandmother would had the cross that was 2 horizontal and 1 diagonal.
Yeah,
that-
yeah. Where was she from? Usually, yeah, they use that one.
Yeah, she was from Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Catholics in Czechoslovakia too, I think.
Well, I think it's just not Roman Catholicism. It's
It's
Byzantine.
Eastern Catholic.
Byzantine, I
Catholic.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a Byzantine. This is the worst thing to ever talk about, but I went to a Byzantine wedding, and it lasted 3 hours, and
Yeah.
it was the first time I got to drink alcohol. Man, I was like 9, and they made me drink.
That's why Tom tolerates coming to my church because we like go to a Serbian wedding and the priest is like doing a shot and Tom's like, this is not what the first Congo.
And he has like a crazy hat. And
not
like,
at this place, not at this place, but they have those. But no, the priest is great. Like he has like a wad of cash, and they all do shots. Like the men, it's great. It's a great bunch of people. It's a great bunch of people. They got a raw deal in
so
the
it's
night.
more like a is it more like a bathhouse than a church?
What happens in a bathhouse? I don't know. I don't think so. I
Pat
just
Reamer.
yeah. Well, that's different. It's not like that. I guarantee you, it's not like that. There's no yeah.
No, but like is your priest allowed to fuck women?
Well, one woman.
He's got like 8 kids.
got, like,
One, which is better than 0.
Yeah,
that turn
he's got
into
8
little
kids.
boys.
Yeah, they are absolutely. They're very much for.
Yeah,
I'm like, let's just have deacons, motherfucker. Let's just have deacons. You know,
deacons are great.
Let's take out what is the major crux problem of Catholicism. Let's get that out of there. You know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
just
I
let
don't know.
just let the dudes do their thing.
Yeah, that's a relatively late that's like kind of a Middle Ages thing that they started to have the
Yeah,
priests.
you're either gonna be a priest or a serial killer if you don't fuck.
Yeah. They had a lot of problems with nepotism in the priesthood though. That's why the Western Europe decided to make it so priests couldn't have kids.
Do we
because
have a
otherwise
problem
they
with
were like,
nepotism in the West right now? With everything? With capitalism?
Probably.
No, we do.
Probably.
Well, this is enthralling. Should we?
Yeah.
Maybe...
Sorry. Thank you, vets.
So one thing that I actually think this is, I mean, all my topics are boring because I'm boring, but Tom and Alice, you didn't happen to see my back and forth with my state representative, Mark Lombardo, on Twitter?
I did not.
No.
I did not. What was
He's usually good though, isn't he?
He is. No, I like him. I voted for him. He I think I got kind of a snarky response. So this is what happened. I'll show, I guess, I'm not going to share my screen, but Bill Rick at DPW had tweeted out, and I was kind of half messing around, but they tweeted out last week. Please remember, Waste Management will be running a normal Monday to Friday schedule for trash and recycling the week of Veterans Day with no delay, as, quote, they do not observe Veterans Day in Billerica.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I think there was some semantics, but I decided to, be snarky Danny, and I tweeted at Mark Lombardo, hello, at Mark T. Lombardo. Any insight as to why they do not observe Veterans Day in our town? It's been a federal holiday for 70 years. Thank you for your help, sir.
Response?
His response, and I people are saying I got owned. I don't know. Hi, Danny. Waste Management is a private company that the town contracts with. I'm assuming, like many companies, they choose which holidays they observe. The town doesn't dictate their employee holidays.
I think you might have gotten owned.
Yeah, I do know that the town of Billerica does observe Veterans
I don't
Day.
think you got owned. I think.
Well, I thanked him for clarifying and said had a great day.
I think that
Sorry,
guy's a
Dick.
douchebag.
No, I actually like him. He's a good. Well,
Yeah.
and you guys are a fan of him, right? Because
Oh,
he
yeah.
is
No,
actually a
I'm
little
a
bit of a
fan. I
dissenting
know who
voice.
he is. I know who he is, and
How do
but
you know? You live in
well, I
Pennsylvania.
work for the Democratic Party.
All right. Well, this is one specific. Well, he's a Republican, and he's in Massachusetts, so I don't know.
I ran the campaign for the
For
guy
Mark
that-
Lombardo and Billerica. Wow.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
see,
do.
I'm
We could
getting,
try and do all we
quite a
want
back
in
and
the other
forth.
Commonwealth, but it doesn't work out.
That's true. That is one of the other Commonwealths.
I think we're the only two.
So
I think
did
the
see-
other
How do we
Those
feel,
four.
by the way, about
also
question 4 not
Virginia and
passing?
Kentucky.
How do we feel about question 4 not passing? As this
Virginia's
was
not.
passed as a very
Virginia's
important bill
Commonwealth.
for veterans to be able to do psychedelic drugs.
Yeah, so that I was actually a little surprised that got struck down. I do think that
Ever see Men Who Stare at Goats? Or read the book?
No, I remember when the ads were out for that though. That's like about the CIA.
George Clooney book and George Clooney movie with they just give acid to.
Is Matthew McConaughey?
Is
in
that
it
is that
too,
MK
maybe?
Ultra? Is that what that is?
It was MK Ultra.
yeah.
But it was a much more utopian view on it than dystopian.
It's funny, like the government really used to own the military, like making him go to the Trinity site and it's like, put these glasses on. We don't know what's going to happen. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, man. It was like, come on, we're going to go into a cabin. We're going to give you like intravenous drugs and you're not going to ask any questions.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah,
what?
psychedelics. They're going to give you LSD. Your mind's going to be fucking blown like it has never in your in life. We don't know what lasting effects it has, but thanks for joining up. It's relatively peaceful at the moment.
We're testing it on you to see if it could be a weapon to use against our enemies.
Right? Yeah, it's amazing. Like
It
even
makes
like
sense.
all the A-bomb stuff at Bikini Island, whatever. Like there are people on an island. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
What's going on?
Hey, Robbie.
Happy Veterans Day.
Hey, Robbie.
What day is it today? So
What's going on, Robbie V?
not much. Question 4, Alice. I was actually really surprised that didn't pass. To be perfectly honest with you, because I thought that among anything that would fly like I thought
Yeah, I
that
thought
would.
they'd be for it. Yeah, didn't you? The psychedelic drugs?
I don't know because there's like it's very like Rogan libertarian. It's so, and I don't know if
say Rogan libertarian.
yeah, it is.
That's redundant.
Yeah, it is. Well, right, but what I mean is,
Rogan actually raised that with JD Vance on his podcast.
Right,
the
but what
psychedelics for.
but I mean Rogan's version
Have
of
you ever done psilocybin? Have you?
I've done mushrooms.
Tried it?
Out in the
Yeah,
woods.
so you've done psilocybin. All
Sure,
right.
yeah.
Did you
but
have a
I'm
good trip or did you have a bad trip?
It was 4 hours of the greatest thing in the world and then 4 hours of total hell panic. It was 8 hours altogether. But yeah, it was.
What was the switch? What was the breaking point?
We had to go back. We did it in the woods, and so that was beautiful and awesome. But then we had to go. It was Thanksgiving to my friend's Thanksgiving dinner.
You ended up in a social setting?
Yes, yeah. And I had some
Oh,
kids
dude.
gave me the whole time, and he was like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Holy fuck!" It was like, yeah. I was totally. Oh, totally, yeah. So those last 4 hours were not good. And
If anybody is like, hey, we're gonna go into the woods and have like ourselves, just what do you call it, a sojourner, and then we're gonna go back to my mom's house, with all of our in-laws. I'm like, no, man,
no.
Like, I'm gonna stay in the woods. I'm gonna find myself my own turkey.
Yeah, no. That part was magic, but the whole thing is like when I say that the Rogan libertarian is that like you wouldn't think Massachusetts Liz Warren voters would love the idea of mushrooms.
No, they do though.
Do they? They do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
They didn't vote for him for it this time.
From some of the things I read, I think part of it was just the lack of regulation. I think that's what
that was a big thing.
kind of made people nervous about voting for it. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Do you see
Happy
how many,
Veterans
do you
Day.
see how many states
Happy Veterans
passed
Day, sir.
recreational marijuana?
We're talking about drugs.
Yeah,
But-
Massachusetts.
Yeah, marijuana is not a drug. You're right.
But Massachusetts voted down legalizing psychedelics this election, and it was cast as a
Yeah.
veterans issue.
Oregon didn't.
Yeah.
Washington didn't.
Mhm.
There were other states that legalized it, and you can Maine. You could go to Maine and get psychedelics.
Are they
It's-
all? It's all
yeah.
legal in Maine?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's all legal, man, is it?
I just want to have Robbie V talk. His
aside
voice is
from
like butterscotch pudding to me.
I mean, my cousin
So-
maybe from New
I mean,
Hampshire,
I
that's why
get,
he's getting so
like
banged up at
they're,
weddings.
like 15 minutes away from me in Pennsylvania, outside of Scranton. I could go get ketamine treatment for my and I'm looking into it. You know, I mean, apparently it helps a lot with depression. So why not?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I think like I'm 51, so like we just mostly smoked weed and drank, and like that was it, and that's where like my comfort zone is. And like with drinking, I'm not even good at smoking weed. I lose my nerve, and I'm an idiot. But mostly drinking is probably the way that, at least in how old are you, Kevin? Are you my age or younger?
I'm 52.
Okay, so we're the same age. Yeah. It was like it was drinking in the woods culture with weed, and that was pretty much the mainstream of like how to handle stuff. But we also didn't. There's also life was much simpler in 1990. It really, I feel it was anyway. I mean, it was tough still, but there was not 84 versions of depression led by your social media like thing. And, like, I can imagine if you're somebody who gets anxiety now, there's so many inputs to be hit by stuff that like I can't imagine how you'd cope. Like how you're supposed to cope with stuff. Everybody, plus these pharma companies, man, everybody's so on so much shit now. Jesus, I don't know what's better.
I agree with you. We'd go in the woods and drink beers, smoke a little pot every now and then. My first year in college, my first party at college, I did coke, I did shrooms, I drank, I did Percocets, and on the cab ride home, I vomited.
So you had a great time.
It was my first time doing coke was off the guy
You
who had
do
a
it
party.
all at the same time, or are these multiple? Are these different nights?
All in one night. It didn't end well. I'm not there yet. But the host of the party, she came to the door dressed as the St. Pauli girl, and she had a tray. Like, oh, I've never done that before. And she's like, well, that has to be special then. And she just took her top down and put a little bump on her nipple. And I was like, college is amazing. You know,
That is, I would have gone had I known that happens.
I'm taking a cab ride home, and I'm really messed up more than ever before in my life. It was way too much all at once, and I just start like power vomiting into the bay of the cab, and the cabbie just stops the car. He just takes me and throws me in the road in the middle of like Mass Ave, and he's gone. I'm on the ground rolling around. It was a good experience, I guess. I'm glad I had it, but I wouldn't do it again. I'm not Montante, you know.
Hey, he's been clean since August.
I wonder what that St. Pauli girl is. She's probably could feasibly a grandmother now, and be somebody.
It's true.
Oh
It's true.
man, that's great though.
Wow.
That is great. I also sniffed something. This chick who at Harvard. I got into a party at Harvard University somehow, and
Harvard?
yeah,
Never heard of it.
This hot co-ed said, "Come here," and of course I did whatever she said, and she said, "I want you to sniff this off of her hand." I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was, the inside of a Tide Pod or what it was.
It was a Tide Pod. No, it was
Because
definitely a Tide Pod.
I would put women on such a pedestal that anything they asked me to do, I was going to do. There's no way I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, the St. Pauli girl thing, I would have been absolutely.
It never reached that peak again. That was, as far as my college parties go, I climaxed early, which is fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean climaxed early?
Well, I had a lot go on in my first week. I worked for a place called.
And then after that, you were a saint?
No, I just didn't do it all at once anymore. It it was, that first like week of parties. Like I said, I was a valet. That ultimate parking still exists. And
Yeah,
when I
where were
started,
you valeting?
I valeted Park Plaza. I did Grill 23. I did
Very nice.
Grill 23 was probably the best for making money.
Oh yeah.
There was Mercury Bar.
Wait, Tom, is that where one of the most important moments of your life happened?
I ran into that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. I recognize there. I love Grill 23. 542-1340, right? Is that right? Is that not right? Might be right.
That sounds right. It's
I
been a
love
long time.
Yeah, that
Grill
Park
23
Plaza.
is in Back Bay, right?
Grill 23 is in Tremont, right?
Yeah.
I was working at Biba when Princess Di died.
Yeah.
When Prince died? When Prince died or Princess
died a long time ago.
Yeah. What was the lady's name? Linda.
Where were you when Prince died?
The Biba lady. Linda. Lisa. Who's the lady who owned it?
Yeah, I don't remember that. That's
Lydia Shire. That was Lydia Shire.
Oh my holy shit! What a mind on this guy. That's great.
Oh,
yeah.
that was my area. They had the elephant ears. Remember the elephant ear dish
Oh,
that they had?
shit.
Oh, that was great. Bring me back to 1993, please. For fuck's sake, get out of here.
1993.
I met Patrick Ewing at Biba, and he was the biggest twat on the planet. What a
Of
douche!
course he was. He went to Georgetown.
Yeah,
No, he was dining at Biba. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know, for whatever reason. I think he played for the Knicks at the time, I'm sure. And I'm
Well,
like,
if
oh,
he was dining at Biba, yeah.
yeah.
No, he wasn't at Georgetown.
Well, no, I don't know where he was playing professionally. I just know he was there having a night out, and I was like, let me help you with your door, Mr. Ewing, and he was a twat. So whatever.
Yeah. The Mercury.
never meet your heroes.
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
No, yeah, never meet your heroes. They're gonna always let you down.
All right, first donation in. Thank you, Mark K. $25. So the link, I tweeted out the link to the GoFundMe and also put it in the chat.
Listen, I have a Veterans Day story. If you want me to share
Please.
it,
I'm always a fan of a Kevin story. Let's hear it.
Go ahead.
So, my grandfather and his brothers, it was the generation World War II where they lied about their age to get into the draft. You know, it was just their bravery, their heroism to jump into stuff like that. And there's a lot of those guys still around today, but back then it was just a different level. The whole family went to go fight. And my uncle Frank was in the Navy, and he was on the USS Indianapolis, which was a ship that was shot down. It dropped off the bomb that bombed Hiroshima. And on the ride back after the war was over, the mission was secret.
Wasn't it the Enola Gay?
That's the plane.
That was the plane. The ship, the Indianapolis, dropped off the bomb to what was the island? Tinian.
I'm sorry.
Tinian, I've been there.
So yeah, it's
a casino.
It's out there.
That's about it.
So the mission was so secret, no one knew they were dropping off this bomb except the guys on that boat. And on the way back, even though the war was over, there was a Japanese sub, and it shot them down. It's a crazy story because no rescue came for them. They spent I think almost 12. I think 1,195 men were on the boat when it went down. 316 survived the plight. Anyway, they spent 5 days in the water fighting off sharks, fighting with each other. And, my whole life, I wanted to hear the story about my Uncle Frank's adventure. Oh, fantastic. That's the ship, right? So anyway, he would tell me all the time, he'd say, it's not a story for children, not a story for children. And then one day, and mind you, my Uncle Frank, Frank Centazzo, he had a photographic memory. They actually used his stories to make scripts, to make books. He was a very interesting guy. He was in trouble with the law. He took the bar. He passed the bar and fought for himself and won. He was a really smart guy. But anyway, I'm not. So he finally tells me the story. And it goes on for about 3.5 hours. I was 16 years old when he finally told me. And both of us had tears streaming down our face. And when you hear what these guys went through for 5 days, to hear it that like graphic and that intense and that precise of a story, it just, from my whole life, I was wrecked by it. So whenever as a Veterans Day, and I think of veteran, I think of that. I think of that kind of sacrifice, that kind of giving, that kind of selflessness, and it means a lot to me. My grandfather fought, all his brothers fought. I did not. Not a brave guy, but when I hear Veterans Day and what it means to people, I think of my Uncle Frank and that 3-hour long story that he told me that, fucked me up for 10 years. So
Yeah,
happy-
well, that's incredible. The story of the Indianapolis is freaking harrowing, incredible. That's great that he told you that. It's I have a good bit of news is that our kids actually, their teacher, this last week told them all about that story about the Indianapolis, how it had to do with Jaws. What's his name on Jaws?
Yeah.
Had been in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Dude, we need a bigger
When-
ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the shark's eyes roll over black like a doll's.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
the story of the Indianapolis is one of those that like takes all the fun out of what you think war is. It's
Yeah, and
I don't think
especially
there's a lot of fun in war.
well, right, but
well,
there's
I think it means like in a movie.
depiction that it's fun, like it's throw grenades, die gloriously, etc. But it's like
Like,
obviously-
is there a better opening sequence to a movie than Saving Private Ryan for
No.
war? I don't think so.
no.
I mean, I don't know if it seemed realistic to me. My hands were clenched on the handles of the seats when I watched it in the movie theater for the first time. That was to me, holy shit, very intense. So I think you're right there. That's probably a pretty good opening. As far as the Indianapolis goes, the captain McVeigh, he committed suicide. They always said it was his fault, and every single sailor and everyone behind the scenes says it was not his fault. So if you ever wanted to hear an interesting story, I can't think of. There's a book out, and my Uncle Frank wrote a chapter of it. I think it's called I don't know if it's the Night of the Sharks or something like that, but it's a very interesting book, worth a read if you're a reader.
Yeah, I think about these like stories and even like a movie like Saving Private Ryan and how World War II like specifically looms so large for us in the United States today, and these stories and like we joke about having do you have an ancient Rome dad or a World War II dad or a Civil War dad or what you have, because like people are so into World War II, or like people joke about how the History Channel like it's all World War II all the time. And I think part of that is that it's, one of the first wars that we have like a ton of footage of things that happened in it. But I think also part of that is because for our whole lifetimes, there have been people alive who served in World War II. And like, it's kind of this bittersweet thing that we're coming to the end of that era.
Yeah.
People there were living people who remembered D-Day, at the ceremonies this year. Like soon there will not be. Like we're almost there. And
World War II ended in 1944, right?
45.
45. Treaty of Versailles. Or
No,
is
that
that
was
World War One?
Yeah.
44 in Europe, 45 in
Japan.
Japan.
Japan. Okay. So you have to be 90 years old to have
At least.
In that ballpark, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are over 100 by now.
I told Tom this story. This is I'm gonna release secret information from my work, but I do email marketing. But the company that we have a ton of catalog customers, so our customer base is super old, and a bunch of times we listen to customer phone calls, like it's recorded for quality assurance, and we listened to one of these calls that. It blew my mind. I was literally like crying on my work call because this guy was placing an order for some clothes from our company. He was 104 years old and it was his birthday and he had served in World War II and all this stuff. And like we just gave him his order of clothes for free because it was like it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
But it was like really incredible because there are still people out there who were there and they remember. And he said on it, he's like, I don't think I'm going to have another birthday. Like, I think this is it for me. I'm good. This is enough.
That's how you get a discount.
I know. Then we send you your order for free, right? You tell us.
Yeah.
But it is crazy. Like you think about it.
If I'm 104, I'm using that everywhere. If I'm ordering a sandwich, I'm 104 years old. Deliver it to me for free.
But yeah, like this, we're at the end of this time period, and like young people aren't going to take any of this stuff seriously anymore, and like it'll become like another war that's in our past that we've heard about.
Young kids are honestly, I don't want to be your devil's advocate, but apparently I have to be. Do you
Mhm.
think that kids now are actually like wondering and trying to seek out information on World War II?
I would
Some of
hope
them.
so. By the way, look,
Yeah, I would hope
Well, it's
so as
called
well.
YouTube.
I would hope so as well, but they're not, dude.
I hope
Well, I
so. Our
think-
daughter wants
I
to
think-
serve in the Space Force, so there
I
you
think a
go.
lot. I think it'll
People-
surprise you
hey,
how many
dial
people.
in, or that's very interesting. He says my uncle was a big shark hunter
No,
in New England.
he's and then his next one is that his name was Quinn, but
That's
okay.
cool, Luke. Yeah, I guess you want to get all the sharks killed you can after being on that boat. I totally get
Alice,
it.
how old are you?
I am 37.
No, you're wrong, Roscoe.
37 is the new 35, Alice. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm an old
No.
lady now. That's fine.
No, you're not.
It's good. I can't wait to be like a little old lady with
Ugh.
like gray hair and all. Tom won't be there for
I
it.
will,
It's fine.
I will
But-
be with my two hot young wife.
And a garden with rosemary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a great time being a little old lady. It's great.
I'm trading up, so I'm going to be available, ladies.
Good luck, ladies. Have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Tom's caretaker will be much younger. Tom's nurse, who feeds him pudding and changes his diaper, will be much younger, I'm sure.
No, like, but also when it comes to
Sorry.
like you like, I want to come back. I want to bring it back to you think that kids were wondering about World War II. I don't think any kid knows what the Battle of Normandy was.
I don't know. Do they not? I mean, it's a pretty big battle. I mean, the kids play Call of Duty, right?
I don't know.
Is that how they have to learn?
I don't know. I've been out of the. young
You tell
people's
us
world.
you're younger, right? Like, how is it out there with the kids?
I'm younger than you by 2 years. All right, we're good. Don't worry. I'm older than you by 5 years, actually. And so, yeah, no. If kids are learning video games as history, no, that's not right.
Well, movies too, like Band of Brothers, stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah,
there are
well-
other guys who
Although-
get into that stuff,
We have showed those to our son, and he's not that into those.
No.
To be honest, like he likes some history stuff, but he's not like Band of Brothers didn't really like jump out at him.
No,
But I think we
What?
have. I think
what
we
about
have
Inglorious
an emotional
Bastards?
connection, like our generations have an emotional connection to World War II that I think younger people won't have because that's ending. And I think part of that is like, my grandfather used to drag us every Veterans Day, and I was a little asshole, so I hated it and I didn't pay any attention, to show us his stories of him and his buddies in the Pacific, like doing stuff, going to these different islands, and like I think they like defused bombs or something. I don't even know what he did because
Yeah.
I'm an idiot and I didn't listen.
Cannibals, dude.
But I have an emotional connection to World War II because of that. And I think a lot of us do because we knew people who were alive in World War II. And I think our kids like don't. To them, it's like another war, like the Civil War or whatever. It starts to fade into history instead of being this living thing anymore. And like we're this time of knowing World War II veterans is like going away, which is it's sad,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
to
that
build on that now,
that personal connection is huge towards keeping that legacy on. I still remember for a high school project I had to interview my grandfather who was in the Army. He was actually in the Army Air Corps, so before the Air Force even existed. He actually served with Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart, his nickname for him was Boston. But he just had all these old stories, and I remember he was always a fun-loving, easygoing guy, joking around. But as soon as I put the camera on him and started asking about the war, like this just pall, fell over his face, and it just obviously it was really really difficult. And then we hear about PTSD and everything now, but back then everybody just dealt with it. He didn't talk a lot about the war, but when he did, it was just incredible to hear firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, my late uncle he was one of the people who went to Italy, freed Italy, and my Uncle Eddie, he passed on, but he never talked about it. I mean, he'd rather talk about basically just anything other than
My grandfather was 14 years old in Italy, in northern Italy, where the Nazis occupied France. So he got shot at, and he ended up. I have a what do you call it?
Luger.
German rifle. German rifle.
I don't know.
And he stole it off a dude. Like my great grandparents owned a restaurant, and they would come in and order food, and my grandfather pissed in their drinks. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, you know? And when he was 14, he was out and he had a satchel of wheat. You wouldn't think that like that'd be something to shoot somebody over. It was a Mauser, what I was thinking about. But no, yeah, they shot at him and he took it like right
What?
here.
So he peed in their drinks and they shot him?
No. The two separate stories.
I'm very confused.
He peed in their drinks before
The Nazis.
So there were Nazis
Oh,
in
there were
northern
Nazis
Italy
involved. Okay.
that were occupying France, and he had like a satchel of wheat, like that he was bringing back, like to make bread out of, and they shot at him, and he said he heard the bullet come by his ear, and it pierced right here, like on his upper lip, where my dirty mustache is, and he just kept, like, he had a scar, it split it open, and he just kept going and tearing off the skin of the scar, and
I was confused.
you
I'm
barely
looking at Tom's face
barely saw it
right now.
anymore.
I'm so confused.
He was a badass, dude.
I will say this.
Sounds
I do
bad. I
think
don't fully understand, but it
Eliseo
sounds bad.
Garbolino.
I don't have a lot of great things to say about the Nazis, but I would say that pissing in anybody's drink, it should be a war crime. I'm sorry. No.
If you piss,
We're trying to have a civilization here, you know.
No, if you piss in a Nazi's drink, you're all right.
I don't know, man. That's gonna come right back at you. Come on, you've got to.
That's all right. I think
Plus,
the substance of that
sterile.
story was very good, but the way you told it was the most boring fucking thing ever, Jake.
I
was
know. It was
you
Well,
lost
there's
me
three
like
stories
8
at once?
times. Yeah, I was trying to keep up, and then I was just like, all right, so your grandfather got shot by Nazis,
Yeah.
and he also pissed in their drinks, but that was before.
No, that was that. Actually,
Yeah, see, you said
I'm
before,
not
so-
sure where that was.
but you
I
threw it
just
in there
remember
anyway.
He brought
Pennsylvania.
He didn't like Nazis, and he was a
Me, no, I
bad.
went to
That's
Italy every
why I
year.
feel like
It's
it.
weird.
He was a famous drink pisser. You get somebody, if you didn't like him, you got pissed in your drink. That's it.
Isn't the bartender
That was it.
saying
Better than a goat
That was
fucker.
it.
drink? Like
It was
maybe
like Bear Jew.
Very true.
Just taking a turn. Yeah.
He's a
No,
Tarantino character.
You can't
Oh,
have
the
a
bear
four-
Jew.
Jake, we lost David Rodriguez.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
That's rough.
What are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do?
Sorry, Robbie V's under the comments. I
Let me
apologize,
ask you a
Robbie.
question. What is the best war movie there is?
I told you what it was.
You did?
Saving Private Ryan.
That's definitely a good one. But
Okay.
generationally, a lot of people would say The Deer Hunter because it's critical of Vietnam.
No, they would say no.
Deer Hunter is a great
First half
movie.
of Full Metal Jacket.
Either
Also
Full
critical
Metal
of Vietnam.
Jacket or the one with Charlie Sheen's dad.
The most
Platoon.
unsettling part of the Deer
Platoon.
Hunter, though, is when they go hunting
With
and
the
like
fucking-
they're in
Platoon?
Pennsylvania,
Platoon?
and then
No,
all of a
with
sudden
the
they're in the
fucking
Rocky Mountains.
starts off with the fucking helicopters in Hanoi and shit like that. What the fuck was that?
That was Miss Saigon.
Yeah, that was Miss Saigon. Yeah, that was a beautiful pitch.
I think Glory is
Yeah.
criminally underrated.
First half of
Apocalypse
Stripes.
Now. Thank you, G.
Agreed.
Glory?
Thank you. Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, Glory with Denzel and
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say, what about the Civil War movies? There's like
Yeah,
a bunch
Glory's
of
a great
those
movie.
that are
The
great.
well, the
Patriot.
end. You know,
good.
the end when
Oh, the Patriot's great. Does that count as a
Yeah.
war movie? It seems pretty
Yeah, dude, the
Yeah.
dude.
We
loses
showed
a
our
blade
son that.
to a
That he
cannonball,
really liked.
bro.
That's a
Glory's a
great
great
movie.
movie. Great movie.
you know the scene where
Glorious
the,
Bastards, great war movie.
you know the scene at the end
Also,
of Glory.
slightly
when-
imaginary.
Hacksaw Ridge, pretty good.
Very slightly.
Hacksaw Ridge is great. Love that.
Pretty good.
Robbie,
on
what
that
were you
one. I
saying
like
about
that.
Glory?
The scene where they play the low like I think it's like a trombone or trumpet, and the general's getting ready, and basically the guy says at the end, "We're ready, Colonel," and he knows those about 90% of those guys are gonna die, but they're ready to roll.
What
and,
about Fury?
It's very powerful. And when Thomas says he said, "I'll carry the flag," when Thomas couldn't hit the broadside of freaking Sissy Case with his bayonet.
Oh, in the chat it says the Great Escape. That's a good one
On
too.
how to
Great
create
Escape's
the greatest
excellent.
scene ever.
Great
The
Escape.
Mexican
is a good one.
standoff.
For, like
Oh,
motorcycle
so
stuff
good.
is iconic.
And then
What
Is
about,
that who is that?
what
Okay,
about Mad Max? Is that a war movie?
kind of. I don't know. Jackson should weigh
We're
in on
getting
that.
a little far afield.
But
I feel.
but it's interesting because like those
who's the host of this thing?
the Matthew Broderick where he marched down Beacon Street in Boston, their mansion is still right there on Beacon Street, kind of like almost Beacon and Park Streets, where they all watched them and assumed that these kids of privilege, Broderick, would be fine because it wasn't really our war up here, in a way, like class wise. But to think that those guys all got like torn to pieces, it's amazing. And actually, the story of William Carney, the first Black Civil War Medal of Honor winner, is freaking awesome. Which is not told enough. It should be actually. It should be in a movie.
Thin Red Line doesn't get a lot of love. It's a great movie.
Mm.
No, it's
I
subtle.
mean,
It's not.
Hunt for Red
it's good.
October is better if that's a war movie.
I think it is in a sense. Sure.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, Michael Bay. Give Michael Bay.
That's a very good point for you.
Like,
Did anyone mention Apocalypse Now?
Love you.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now is great.
Oh, and Bridge on the River Kwai. That's the
Bridge on the River.
scene I was just whistling.
For the song alone.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
song. Although
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure I completely understood the point of the movie.
What do you mean?
I
the
like
point
the
of the
Top Gear
They
special where they
built
try
the
to
bridge,
build a
blow it up. I don't know.
Bridge on the River
I
Kwai.
don't
They
know.
had to blow
They
up the
blew
bridge
it
so the
up.
train couldn't
the
get across.
point was to be proud and British, even though you're
And make a really good bridge, but then also not help them by blowing it up after. Is that like it?
yes, it's just toiling and trying to keep civil order while things were falling apart around you. That's the whole point of the thing, was to try to. And it's actually the same thing with the Hanoi Hilton.
Maybe
with-
that one is a boy thing because
with-
I don't fully. I just
No,
I
it's not
like,
a boy thing. It's like
I don't know. I
humanity.
saw the movie and
Yeah,
I
but
was like,
they-
I
They
think
did.
I know what happened.
They did
but
the
I
same
just-
thing with in the actual Hanoi Hilton with when McCain was there and Admiral Stockdale. They kept order, kept the men fresh by having order and having a system,
a sense of
where,
purpose.
yes, a sense of purpose where everybody had a job to do and they kept like the structure intact.
But then, like, one guy is too attached to the bridge and he doesn't want to blow it up actually because he like gets emotionally invested. Did I imagine that part, or doesn't he try and stop him
No,
from
but-
blowing it up in the end?
But at the same
No,
time,
that's Forrest Gump.
that is Forrest
Well,
Gump.
So
That's a war movie.
That is a
the,
war movie.
the movie wasn't very good, but if you read the book Unbroken, that book was fucking
Yeah.
tremendous.
Great
So
book.
if you're a reader at all, Unbroken is worth your
All
time.
right. What
Really
about
good.
Movie's
Like,
not bad.
first of all, the book?
Just
the
compared to
movie
the book, yeah.
Shooter is based off one of the greatest books ever written.
Yeah.
Anybody read? Anybody read?
I read. Yeah.
Read what?
Yeah. Did you read? James.
I read the comments.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Did we recognize all the veterans?
If you get a chance to read Point of Impact,
or the
you
active
should read it.
service guys like Fax.
Facts,
Welcome,
you
by the
read
way,
Point of
Fax.
Impact?
Good to see you, Luke.
Yeah,
Hello.
Facts, you read Point of Impact?
Random Sports Chat. Good to have you.
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Are you a veteran, Random Sports Chat?
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
thank you for doing the
Oh, you
vocals
are.
for my song. by the
Thank you
way.
for your service.
Which service?
8 years active Air Force.
Oh, very
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. Happy Veterans
Chad,
Day,
you
to
didn't tell us
everybody.
that.
Colorado Springs or what?
Thank
Yeah.
you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
where,
I was an
where were you
aerospace
stationed?
engineer. I was out. I did
Colorado
3 tours,
Springs.
and I was out most of my career in South Dakota, actually, with the
Nice.
B1s.
Pierre.
Damn.
Ellsworth in the Black Hills.
Would you
So,
get out as like tech sergeant?
Yeah, staff.
Staff. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You guys know that Curb Your Enthusiasm where everybody's like, "Thank you for your service," and Larry's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I just like
I
that
just
one.
want to ask you, buddy.
Well,
I
it's a
just wanna
tough
ask
one
you,
sometimes, right? Because
who's
I mean-
a better football team, West Virginia or Marshall?
Probably Marshall at this point. It's pretty
What?
ugly.
Yeah, I think Marshall. I'd like to play in this
Marshall's
series.
been
Are you on his
covering
side?
all
Oh,
year.
you're on his
No,
side.
I went to West Virginia. It pains me to say it.
Oh, you
Anyway,
went to West Virginia.
couple things. I appreciate you guys raising money. I threw a donation in there myself, and also
Thank you.
if anybody's anywhere near Auburn, my buddy was an Army Ranger, does a wonderful work with an organization called ASVA, Auburn Student Veteran Association. I'll throw their link in the chat. They do an Iron Ruck every year. It's actually coming up in like 2 weeks, and they've saved quite a few of our brothers from suicide and such. So
it's great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How long is that ruck?
I don't know, actually. I got to get down there and do one.
It's kind of a
They
scam.
do it right
They
out
only
there
go
by-
like across the street.
Right out there by Auburn, yeah.
Couple blocks walk.
Go.
And then the only thing else that I
Yeah,
on the
Charles
movie
Barkley.
front, I thought personally, I was very fortunate. I did some tours, but I wasn't personally, in danger. But I thought that Hurt Locker always did the best job
Oh,
out of
yeah.
out of any of the movies that I saw in terms
Female
of like
director.
it just in terms of like when you're so tuned up every day like that, and then he came back to normal life, and like people are just acting a fool in the grocery store, and like you can't relate, and like I thought it did a best job of that,
Totally.
showing just how tuned
that's a
up
great
you
one.
get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Show
great
them.
because like do you remember my really good friend that was like my childhood elementary school friend who served in Afghanistan and Iraq? And he showed us a bunch of his pictures and he was talking about, he was like, we don't need people to like send us stuff or do anything for us necessarily, but he's like, it's just weird to come back and like in World War II, people knew there was a war happening. And it's like you
Yeah,
would come back
Vietnam was different.
and it was like nobody even knows there's even a war going on. It's like just you're like invisible. They don't even know that any of this is happening. You're like going to this different world. He's like, if people just like remember that we even exist, like that would kind of be cool. But it's very different in this day and age, I feel like.
Very thoughtful.
Patton's another great one.
Oh, totally. Oh my God.
George C. Marshall.
It leads me to a point that probably is a giant downer, but like I was driving with my kids in the car and they saw some people. It said veterans, any money helps. And my older daughter, who's 14, was like, Dad, why don't they just go get a job? And I was like, I don't know personally, but I'm guessing a lot of veterans, especially the older guys, probably Vietnam guys and whatnot. I have to imagine. I saw one of my friends die when I was a kid, and I think about him every day. Every day I think about it. Every day. I have a constant state of like sadness somewhere in my brain because I saw this. It hangs with me, and I deal with it, and it's okay. But I couldn't imagine either having to kill someone or seeing someone get killed. Which I'm sure guys in Vietnam, many wars did. And when I see these guys, and I'll give them, a couple dollars if I have it. My kids are like, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "I can't imagine what they already went through." So to raise money for these guys, whether it's mental health or whatever it is, like I said, I saw one person die, and I think about it every day of my life. I can't imagine either having to take a life or seeing lives get taken in front of you and dealing with it the rest of your life. How do you come back to society and you're a normal person and you get a job as a cashier at a bank? How do you do it? So these guys are out there, and if not today, when do you talk about it? It's not comfortable.
How do you come
fun.
home to being spit on for doing what you were asked to do?
Yeah, to let the Jane Fonda, right?
I mean, it's It's
So hopefully the
basically
money.
what we're doing. It's basically what we're doing now. I mean, there was patriotism, there was nationalism after 9/11, but that is slowly that supply has decreased now to 2024, I believe, and I don't think that even our active military are getting the proper back blades that they should have now. And I mean, when it comes to the VA, fuck the VA, man. Why would you hire two different companies to put together spreadsheets? Like, it makes no sense to me. I mean, I see paper up to here, like in VA hospitals, and it's not right. I mean, if we're supposed to take care of anybody, like, it's ingrained in
the VA,
take
the VA
care
has
of
a
our
lot of
elders.
issues.
We need
So
to
much
take
gets
care
caught
of
up
our
in red
goddamn
tape and
veterans,
whatnot.
man. We need to take care of our goddamn veterans.
Yeah, I mean, we joked about a little earlier, like the men who stare at goats stuff, and how like the U.S. government just treats like our armed forces as like totally pawns, disposable. Like you can do literally anything to them, and it's fine. And it's like, yeah, if we owe anybody, it's those people, because any like fucked up thing that we've done to them through our government that we voted for and put in there, like they deserve everything from us, honestly.
That's why
So what you can do is donate to Danny and Melissa's GoFundMe. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. So thank
If you
you,
feel
Jonathan.
some
Thank you,
residual
Kevin.
guilt,
Thank you,
go
Luke.
ahead.
Jonathan, Kevin, Luke, and Mark, thank you for your donations.
Yeah, sorry, I'm poor, but that's all I can give it. Yeah.
That's all right. Every little bit counts. Much appreciated. Keep them.
Hey, can I add chat and facts? Do you guys have you noticed this? I mean, from the outside, all these stories of like the cultural change in the armed forces, all the woke stuff, and you see like recruiting films with like fat dudes and chicks and purple freaking hair and nose rings, etc. Is that something that you guys have
Have
knowledge?
you noticed the Air Force ones that they're literally trying to make it look like a video game for recruitment?
Yeah, so
good question.
When I first started and I first got in the Army, I was a diesel mechanic, and then in 2022 I changed my job to an intelligence analyst. So basically just kind of like you study enemy movements and make predictions, and because of that I've been on an intel base and seeing the world around me on the intel base and how much different it is from the world of mechanics. Because even in the military, there's like little cliques, and it depends who you're with that really kind of sets the tone. So the way that you talk with other mechanics and the combat engineers is going to be a lot different than the way I can talk with intel. So like the intel and signal side and the cyber side is more of that woke thing that you guys are talking about. You see that, and then you see kids who are like 90 pounds soaking wet who can't lift a bar, or they're 280 pounds and can't run a mile. So I think it really depends where you are. Like for me, it's been really frustrating to see that, because when you go through training and they kind of like, depending on when you went through training, if you went through training like 2018 and prior, you kind of have that brainwashing where they like break down your mind and rebuild it. So you're just, all you're thinking about all day is like, this is the standard. This is the standard. And then you see all this and you're like, that's not the standard. That's wrong. That's wrong. So it's like, you have to fight it. But for me, yeah, it gets pretty frustrating, especially being around it a lot.
But do you think the woke thing is coming around to a close, where it's like you had something where they would say, like, our heroes of the past, these soldiers, these people who risked their lives, now they'd say they had toxic masculinity, would be something they would say about people like that. And I think that's coming to a close. I think that's running its course.
Yeah, because they had to find the balance, and then that's the Army, or really any military branch, does that same thing where they always try to find that balance, but it's the military, so they can't. It's always like starts here, and then they go to this huge extreme on the other side, and then they level out. So right now, I think it's at the tail end of going to that huge extreme, where it's gotten so congested with all of this kind of like bullshit that everyone is looking around like, what the hell is going on? And now that every other people are realizing it, especially in the Army, since we have a new sergeant major of the Army who was formerly a Green Beret, he's kind of almost leveling that standard of like, all right, this is what we actually want though. So if you can't meet that standard, that's too bad. And with the new presidency, the advantage for the military in that way is just because now we can kind of renegotiate and kind of refigure out what kind of standards we're going to set for a fighting force, especially in regards to the Marines and then a little bit of the Army. But Marines, they're a little bit smaller than the Army is, so it's a lot easier for them to enforce those standards, where it's like a lot more tight and strict. The Army's the biggest one, so it's hard for us to grab a hold of it and make sure that people are following the standards.
Well,
and
and
it's going
there's
to take a
a
little bit
major
longer.
recruiting crisis. There has been for years.
Yeah, and then for me for recruiting, it's like I've always been on the stance that it's quality over quantity. I wouldn't really be worried about hitting numbers. I don't care to hit numbers. I just want like the whole goal is what I was trained to believe is you should be able to look at the person next to you and think, all right, I go to war with that person. And I don't see that as much anymore. So it's like that's what is frustrating to me is I want that quality of everybody around me. I go, all right, like I could trust to be with you. I could trust to be with you. I know that you're going to drag me out or have my back or do this or that. But when you look around and you're like, dang, is this dude going to stab me in the back or is this person going to run away the first time they hear a gunshot? Like that's what gets me worried personally. But it's all like
you look over and it's facts. You're like, oh shit, I'm going to like die of boredom.
You're like, we're like, fuck, at least I got someone to help me sleep.
But the management class seems to be taken up more with this woke stuff. Like Mark Milley himself, the only time I've seen him upset was when he said, I want to find out more about white men's anger. It's like, what the fuck?
No, if there's anywhere where I want men's anger, it's in our armed forces. To be honest with you, like, can we just channel all the men's anger in society in there? But like, I think the recruiting crisis has more to do with like trusting the leadership, honestly, right? Like, like you said, the new presidency and all this stuff. Like, I want to know that my kid's not going to die because Kamala Harris doesn't understand how to like talk to world leaders. Like I don't need that level of stress in my life. Like if it's going to be somebody like that, I feel like much more comfortable telling my kids to join the armed forces with like Trump or somebody like that in charge, honestly, because I don't have the same fear that he's going to start a million random wars because I think he gives a shit, honestly.
Are you guys like stressing joining the military to any of your children since you have so many and it's so expensive?
Well, our daughter wants to be in the Space Force, so that's like she's way into space and she wants to like do all that stuff. So.
I got something. My 4-year-old wants to be in the Space Force.
So yeah, I mean,
it looks like Jake's trying to say something. By the way,
Jake, go ahead. Thank you for raising your hand.
When it comes to recruitment, whether it's like the Space Force or the Air Force, do you think those guys feel bad for the people they recruited who die?
Bueller, shout out Bueller. I like Bueller.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they feel bad. That they recruit, they're doing their job. I mean,
isn't that like the hardest job then? Like.
Recruiting can be very difficult. Yeah, I don't know if
well, sure, but they don't know if they're going to.
I mean, I'm not saying you're on the front lines, but you're.
Do they like tell you when somebody? Do they like let you know? Like, by the way,
another one.
I don't know when you're
fucking
war. Do they tell you which president's going to be better than the other one?
Yeah, but they don't. But a lot of times, I don't.
You came to that. You came to that conclusion by yourself, Miss Alice. That's what you did.
Yeah, because I saw under Trump how many wars we got involved with.
No, because
and under Biden how many.
And but under Trump, your kid would be space forcing in Florida, like taking out the fucking, deporting kids or doing doing
No, I got something.
The Space Force
I would say
no. That's what the fuck does Space Force do? What does Space Force do? Give me a goddamn honest argument about what.
I think they do stuff with like satellites and shit. I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, Space Force
satellites and shit. We've done that since the 60s.
Yeah, So the
Yeah, but it's
Space
better
Force
now.
does a lot of they do
You
a
ever
lot of
hear of
geospatial
Sputnik?
intelligence
Did you ever hear of Sputnik?
mostly.
Have you heard of
You have to imagine they deal with illegal aliens, illegal space aliens.
God forbid, illegal
Dad
space
joke.
aliens,
Such a
dude.
dad joke.
What the
Oh,
fuck
there's-
are we
there's-
gonna do? How do we get rid of them? How do we deport?
Biden told
Jake,
the space
Ross
aliens
just said that you're in the
to
gay
the border.
force.
True.
Like, it's between 2 and 21 million that your boy's gonna fucking get rid of. I guarantee whoever takes care of your kids, deported.
They're gonna
What?
deport Tom.
That's really low. I mean, come on,
Sign
man.
him up
That's
for
really fucking low.
deportation.
Tom is in favor of family separation when
Tom.
people want being
Yes.
separated.
Please.
Tom
Them on
wants to be
vacation. Oh, sorry, Alice.
deported
Is Tom
to
your husband?
what's the party town in Mexico?
Oh, Tijuana. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
can we
Please,
deport Tom
please.
to Tijuana?
Jesus.
Hey, I got something on that, by the way. Just it's worth noting what you're talking. So I got out in 2014, so I don't know exactly the ins and outs of how woke it is or this and that. I do suspect, like Fax was saying, it is starting to swing back the other way, especially when you realize like 60% of young people are not even eligible to join the forces now with obesity epidemic, this and that. But I can't really speak to that. But I can speak to when you actually go downrange. It is still merit based, and that's what gives me faith in it. Is that, for example, like just in your restaurant, okay, we're all servers or something. We're all supposed to be the same on paper. We all have the same job, but some guys kick ass, some guys don't. It's the same way when you go downrange. I was a flight line mechanic, so we got a couple. We got 10 guys from 10 different units in our shop, okay, and some of them you could tell were not high speed, not with it. Like this person's out in La La Land or whatever. We had a couple jobs where you had to handle the radio or handle dispatch. You're like, all right, that guy's going to go drive the truck and do the radio because he's useless, and then you had a couple guys that were high speed that actually got to do the bulk of the maintenance. We were in the desert. You had like air conditioners and these blowers, and we had to it's 130 out. You got to get air conditioning, and these blowers suck up all the sand and they seize. And so you had to do hardcore maintenance with triple drives and actually swapping out engines and blowers. If you were a high speed dude, you were on the actual maintenance detail that did that, right? If you're an idiot, you're out in the truck and you didn't even know what was going on. So when you actually get
Mad
into
Max, dude.
when you actually get into the heat of what's going on, it is still merit based.
Right.
You know what I mean? They do still take the high speed guys that do 5x more than everybody else, unfortunately. And the same thing when veterans get out. I had a lot of buddies that I did very well. I had a lot of buddies I hired and did very well. We had a lot of guys that did the same job that we did, and you wouldn't hire them. They didn't do so well. They weren't able to market themselves when they got out. Even though we were all trained the same, they didn't have the same experience or they didn't capitalize on their skills. So anyways, I just want to point that out as you think about it. It's never been, even though on paper we're the same rank and we're the same job and we're interchangeable, it's never the same. It's not actually that way.
Dad, I want to ask your
Go ahead.
opinion on unions based off that.
Yeah. Well,
So,
how much time you got?
Because I feel like that basically as a squadron, you're a union, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to send the lesser ones to the truck, right?
Yeah.
What did you say? They're going to be,
We did the radio guys, right? Some guys just worked the radio and drove equipment
Yeah.
around, and some guys actually were trusted to actually fix jet engines and shit because they were better mechanics, right?
But you were all paid the same, correct?
Yep. Paid the
That's
same,
the
paid on the
union.
same day.
That's a union, is it not?
It's like that in anything, though. Like I said, you're running a football team. You got 2 or 3 guys that you
Football
really
team
trust.
is the union as well. I just
Yeah.
don't understand why the
Right.
word union brings so much.
It's still
Sorry,
merit
Sorry
based.
it hurts you that the
Yeah.
union members all voted for Trump.
Wait, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't
The
understand.
point was, you
Kinda
still
struggling
got a
with
couple
military
guys
union?
you give the
The
ball
point
to.
is
Not you, Chad. I meant like Jake. Why are
Yeah.
you bringing up the
Fine.
union?
Yeah.
My point is that I
From the desert.
We ain't
A
found
lot.
shit.
We ain't
I
found shit.
see a dichotomy between what's happening in the United States, what's happening in the military, and it seems kind of right down the middle. Basically, union work is a part of what goes on overseas, and union work is a part of what happens domestically. And I believe that a strong union, yes, you have the weak fucking people that you send to the truck to just do radio, but that union keeps that specific sector stronger, and I think it works for military as well. That's
Do
my
you guys ever expect like Jamie Kennedy to pop out when Jake's?
yeah.
But anyways, to put a bow on that point, just in terms of the woke stuff getting down to that level, honestly, there's levels to this, and you know, when you're in it, you got to pick your guys, and I don't see those people actually getting put into the key positions. You know, they kind of be like, all right, purple hair, like you stay over here. You know what I mean? They're not gonna put somebody's lives on the line if they don't know what they're doing. You know,
Yeah,
there is that aspect to it.
I imagine the level of inclusivity ends when it gets to a guy who can't do a pull up or a guy who can't. You know, I mean, I'm sure. I would hope. You know, for your sake,
dude, I think there's people that can't do a pull up that would protect him downrange, bro.
Well, to a certain extent, sure.
No.
But if he got shot, they would be able to drag him out of.
But that's one thing the military.
That's one thing the military always has. Going to protect them.
Because in the military, you still they may reduce the standards, but you still need to have a level of physical fitness, and that's just
if you can't do a pull up, you can
Yes.
want to save me all you want, but if you can't phizically do it, you're kind of fucking useless regardless.
Honestly, like
So you don't want all right. So the dude with
like
purple
women should
hair
never
that
be
can
in combat
do
situations.
25 straight pull ups, you don't want protecting you.
I didn't say that. I said I don't want the dude who can't do a pull up, who wants to protect me, actually protecting me. Because if he can't do a pull up, he can't pull me.
What about the dude? What about the? All right, I get it. I mean, but
I think it's true. So I admit I
couldn't put up two. What is it? 125, and he's an amazing basketball player. So that's what I would say.
And don't worry, Jake. No one with purple hair is actually in the military. That's against the regulation. So
Yeah,
we're
I
safe
figured
from that
that.
front.
They can
I
use that for
admit,
the
like,
recruitment. Once you're in, it's a different deal.
I like drank the Kool-Aid about like women in the armed forces for sure, and I totally blame the Starship Troopers movie for like
Actually, Roscoe, I protect you.
this idea that like women could be really great in the armed forces because like
Just not
that
in
movie,
combat.
they're awesome, right? But yeah, so then like I said, I had this childhood friend. He was a Marine and he served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And like I was talking about, I was like, maybe I should join the Marines. That'd be good. And like he was like, you know, like honestly, like I don't know if you could like pull your injured guy like out.
Yeah.
If it came down to it, like I just wouldn't want you there, to be honest.
If your
with you.
kid was trapped under your fucking Forerunner, would you be able to pull him out? I think so.
Maybe I'm kind of a
There's a
psycho.
thing called
so it's
adrenaline.
possible, but
There's a thing
yeah,
called
there could be like adrenaline. But at the same time, like I totally get what he was saying, and like I think at the end of the day, like there
So
are
you'd
other
rather him
roles.
not
There are
fucking
other
try and
roles.
help his country.
No, but
and
Jake,
have
let
him
her
what?
talk. Jake, let
Be
her
a
talk.
substitute teacher or something?
No, what I'm saying is like I think there's roles that women cannot do in the armed forces. Like I think there's like more than ever, there's other stuff to do in the armed forces that women can absolutely do and do really well.
What
But
are women trying to do in the armed forces that you don't?
Well, Jake, I
that
think
you
most
don't
of the
abide
roles
by?
in the armed forces aren't combat roles. The only roles that women really shouldn't be in are combat roles. There's no reason why women can't be in intelligence roles, maintenance roles, whatever. It's
Pilots.
I don't.
Yeah, pilots probably
First
not
of all,
either.
you have a.
And let's be honest, they
female-
really shouldn't be
female-
driving anything or operating any heavy equipment.
Correct.
The
But
head of
beyond
the
that-
Thunderbirds
But
is
there's a
female,
ton of
right?
evidence that they get injured at way higher rates. I mean, this is true. It's
What
it's
the
like not
fuck is
pro
this
women
bitch,
to
dude?
say women should be in combat roles.
Haven't
like,
you ever
it's
seen
just
G.I.
not.
Jane?
Yeah, no, I know.
Have
That's
you
what
ever
I say.
seen that bitch
Like
without
Starship
alopecia?
Troopers very much influenced my view that
You
women could
see
totally
G.I.
be in the
Jane,
armed
bitch?
forces. Have you heard of fiction?
Hey, have you watched Independence Day?
Are there any good women
I
serial?
feel like that's what like you believe
I think
that
just
like,
one. The ratio's
America
off.
is like Air Force One, Independence Day, like any Michael Bay movie, really, to tell you the truth. Like, why wouldn't you allow a female into the armed forces?
You're not getting
Well,
it
like
at
I'm
all,
saying,
Jake.
that's used to. That's
No,
what I used
into
to
a combat
because I
role
watched a lot
in
of
the armed
pretend
forces.
movies, but then my friend who was a Marine was like,
I'm not talking movies. I'm talking.
Well,
you
then
wanna
J2,
have
like if
people-
the enemy
Hold on.
storms the base, then yes,
That's
women
just
grab
kinda
grab a.
Are you missing
Talk
it?
to me.
No,
I'm
not.
Don't start. I'm live on TV.
if a woman has bigger balls than me, which
is not that hard.
Oh,
it's very easy. It's very easy.
What am I doing
Listen.
with my fucking life?
It's very easy. But if that woman, all right, wants to go and be a combatant, you would tell her, no, don't do that. It's bad for you. Go and be a nurse.
No, I think it's bad for everyone around her to have women in combat roles, as well as bad for her. I think there are a ton of really great ways that women can serve in the armed forces. I think there are a ton of really great women who have served in the armed forces. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. There's American heroes who are women who have served in the armed forces. But I think
Kurt.
It's hard for me to be nice to you when you come on here and you jeopardize my career.
What is that?
Don't
Say more of
jeopardize
that.
my career.
You're being pirated.
That was my bad. No, I totally agree.
So
Allison.
that point just kind of died, right? We can move on from that.
Yeah. So
Because that went nowhere.
Wagon, welcome
It's-
aboard.
It's
Thanks for
merit
hopping on.
based more than
Yeah.
it seems. It's
Yeah.
merit based. Even if a chick is badass, she will be put in a role to be a key effective person. They
Absolutely.
basically sort out who sucks and who doesn't. Doesn't matter where you're from. It's more merit based than it seems. Even though the poster now
Shouldn't
is that
it
it's
be
woke and
merit-based?
it's not.
And if this female or any female can meet the standard that is
Yes.
required in order to be in that combat role, because
Yes.
you have an army standard, but then with combat units, they usually want you to have a higher standard versus like with company battalion policies. So if a female can do that and meet those battalion and company policies into a combat role, then yeah, sure, she can go out.
Yeah,
but if she
absolutely.
can't do it, whether it be scientifically or just phically in general, then
Right.
yes, it is just like, oh, tough
Right.
shit, you're not as good
Totally
at the combat role.
understand that.
But they can do it. Yeah, if it's possible, I can go for it. But it's
Yeah.
You're
that
constantly
percentage is
sorting.
going to be
Yeah.
percentage is going to be like statistically smaller.
Alex,
Alex,
There's
you
going to be
would
like two of them.
You
maybe.
You're
wouldn't
being
make-
judged,
All right.
evaluated, and sorted all the time. You're being evaluated and sorted. And you can get in the door if you're an idiot, but eventually you're going to get kind of siphoned out to the back burner. They're going to separate you, and they're going to keep in capable people.
So Alice would be where?
Wherever
Nope,
she wants to
not
go,
even
it's
a
within her
combat
control.
Not combat. Yeah, just not combat.
Interrupt this
I didn't think
fascinating
so. I
conversation.
didn't
So I
think
just want to say we're up to $380 raised for Wounded
Woo!
Warriors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you
Yo,
very
where's
much
this
to
website? I gotta give you
Mr.
mine.
Montanti, Robbie V, Mikey Grabbags, and again, Jonathan, Kevin, Luke, and Mark. Thank you all very much.
Where's the
So
goddamn-
MVP moves donating. Thank you.
keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yeah, this
Where
is.
is it?
I think we're on track to do better than we've ever done, except maybe the first year when I think we.
Bueller,
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder is an elite movie.
It is the greatest, one of the greatest comedies ever made.
Yes.
Bueller, whoever Bueller is, that made me laugh so fucking hard.
Dude,
Maybe the last comedy masterpiece. I agree.
oh my God, man. It was like there were
I love that
12
they
people
asked-
on this mission. 4 of them wrote books. 2 of them were made into movie scripts. This is the story of the people that tried to make that movie.
It was literally a month ago. Robert Downey Jr. was asked because they were like, "You can't make that movie nowadays,
Never.
right? Like you'd be canceled." And he's
He
like,
was
"Oh, you."
nominated for an Oscar.
He said, "Oh, you could do it." he basically was like, he's like, fuck it, you could do it. Like,
You couldn't do it then. It wasn't
He
allowed then.
He won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, you bitch.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it was
whoa.
already like this one would have
He was
been.
a dude playing another.
Oh.
And I need you to delete him.
No, that's fine.
He's got a timeout. I think everybody's had
Yeah.
enough of Jake for now.
Yeah, he needs a
Bring
little
him
break.
Alright.
We'll bring him
Do you
back.
mind if I
in a
take-
second.
reevaluate.
do you mind if I take the floor for a second?
Yeah, go for it, Robbie V.
Please.
All right. First of all, Chuck Wagon, great to have you. Second of all, I just want to say that Jake is now in the running for not only moron of the month, but with that comment, probably dope of the year. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Let's
man.
get some. Let's get some class here. Come on, buddy.
Well,
Thank you,
I'm
Robbie.
not even.
Tighten up.
I think the problem is that not that he called her a bitch, but that she was agreeing with him.
Was she?
I think
Yep.
so.
Yeah, I was saying it was transgressive then, and they did it in such a way that they still got recognition and applause, even though if you had like pitched that to people at the time and said we're going to make a blackface Vietnam movie, like people would have said no, you can't do that. But
What made that? And Kevin, I have
What do you mean a
I'll ask you,
blackface Vietnam movie?
what made that okay
a
like,
blackface
in 2000
Vietnam movie.
in 2008? Like, why did that get away with it?
It was
People,
funny.
people.
It was fucking
people-
funny.
Yes.
Yeah. But if
People
you
had a
do a good job at stuff, you can do stuff that's not allowed to do. I guess that's my point. I
It
think
was funny, you
What,
bitch.
you go
agreeing right
change
now.
Blazing Saddles? Like, what the fuck, man?
Well, right, but that
You
was
wanna go
back
change
in
all the fucking
1975.
great comedies
Tropic
because
Thunder,
you
you
didn't
had-
fucking like them, because they were the fucking.
Tropic Thunder
I
was
liked the
You
movie.
fucking
What's
like
your
it?
problem? I liked
God.
the movie. It's a good movie. I don't understand what.
Agreeing
I'm-
with you, Jake.
Just kick me out.
Dummy.
Kick me out.
Tropic Thunder.
You don't have to be kicked out. I don't
Tropic
care.
Thunder had like racial stuff, the gay stuff, they had retard stuff. They had, like, it was fantastic. The whole movie was fantastic, and I don't think we realized that it was like the last blast of that before suddenly like these undercurrents came and said, "Nope, never again. Nothing's
Well,
funny."
people could laugh at themselves. People had a sense of humor. They understood things were a joke. I mean, you could joke with each other about your own deficiencies. Then we get to a stage where you can't. Now you have fucking Will Ferrell saying he'll never dress as a woman again for a laugh. That was the whole joke of Monty Python their whole career.
Of course.
It's like, when did we get so serious?
Thank
Just
you.
make fun of me all day.
you.
I don't care.
Fucking
It's swinging
bullshit,
back.
man.
It's swinging back the other way. Yeah.
I-
Well, yeah, I think that's why, like, Democrats still don't get why they.
it comes down to Democrats and
But it
Republicans.
is.
When it
But
comes
it
to
is.
comedy,
I
you
came up with
fucking person that decides that we're going to go right or left. It's got to be something because I paid for this mic.
Oh my god. All right. Now let's go
So the
ahead.
thing is, too, is I
point is
love
so
it when he
that,
does that.
Guy
It
looks
cracks
like a
me up.
Cookie Monster.
I'm in the last generation that came up because I'm like an older millennial, right? Where we like had South Park and like offensive humor. Do you know what I mean? Like people, then it was like Gen Z they like don't do humor anymore.
My
You know what I
10-year-old
mean?
still watched South Park.
At what age?
He loves it. Well, he's 11 now. But
Oh well, yeah, but I'm saying like in terms of the broad generational like
yeah,
vibe.
I think it's coming back. I think it's coming back, though.
It totally is, but that's the point. Is that it's like Democrats became the party of like the HR, hall monitor, guidance counselor, like school marm,
That's why they
people who
lost.
are like, humor is not funny, right? Like, and
Yeah,
then
that's why they lost.
totally,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, if that
Fuck
used
this bitch, I'm out.
that used to all be left wing coded. You know what I mean? Like thinking that the Man Show was funny used to be left wing coded, and now it's not, right? Like now that's offensive and bad.
The comment section is funny. If you want to talk funny, this is getting out of control.
It really is.
Craig, I agree with you. Major Pain, excellent.
Let's take some. We should take some
One of the first
questions from
DVDs
the
I ever owned.
comment section.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Are there
Yeah.
any questions in the comment section?
I mean, they can start asking.
Mostly comment sections is trashing Jake.
Oh,
Comment section, truth or dare. Let's go for the veterans.
oh, no.
All right, Robbie V, you go first.
Probably the truth, I guess. I don't know.
You would.
Hot
tub
Sneaks,
time
they're both
machine.
great, but Tropic Thunder by an edge.
Hot Tub Time Machine was the last movie I saw in theaters.
There you go.
Wow, that's a good call. Oh,
Did
super
it get
bad.
a Luke? Did it get a
Roscoe
Luke
wants to know,
Stacks
Roger,
rating?
have you ever dressed up as a woman?
No, I need to see it again. I haven't seen it in years. It was me and Alicia Bowen. We I fingered her at the theater. It was great.
Oh wow.
Use her
Just
name.
little victories.
It's like the popcorn
2010.
trick after.
Seriously, how do I give money? Where's the link?
The old
You
snake
put it like
finger.
7 times.
Don't take
Jake, don't give
It's also
$700.
scrolling across the bottom.
Not a
If you
finger.
can copy and paste that.
GoFundMe.com/F/donate to Warriors on your. I can't keep up.
Yeah,
with
maybe
that.
I should do a short.
Which one's Jake? Is that the one that with the glasses that looks like Cookie Monster over there?
Yeah.
No,
I get
that's-
him confused.
I'm sorry.
above you?
Your biceps look.
No, I like
super
you,
cool.
Jake. Who's above you?
Your
Is
biceps
that fucking
look
mongoloid
ripped, bro.
above you?
Did you cut that T-shirt yourself? That's sick.
No, I bought it like this.
You bought it like that? That's even worse.
Wagon, I'm in the
Okay.
PlayStation chat with you, dude.
I love this.
Wags.
I can't see the names.
You Ed Hardy fan? Big Ed Hardy
No,
fan?
this is no Eddie Hardy. It's straight
No,
up
no,
like
that's Ed
Walmart.
Hardy. You
Walmart
you
American
make your own
flag
Ed
shirt.
Hardy. That's how big of a fucking gay boy you are. Look at
Okay,
you.
Baba. Okay, Baba.
What? Okay, papi. Okay, papi. Yo necesito no Wags, eh?
Have another drink, pal.
No, I
think
am. I can't get over the election, so I'm drinking.
Why?
It's really
What's
sad.
happening?
You can't transition now?
No, there's gonna be a peaceful transition of power, unlike last
No.
time.
I mean, like you can't cut your penis off and have a vagina, or what?
Yeah. That's a good joke.
I'm just asking.
What's your
What are you
next
so
one?
upset about? What's
What's your
gonna
next one,
change?
bro?
How much is out of your
No,
basement?
what? No,
really gonna
bro.
change?
Bro,
What's gonna
your
change
next
out of
joke?
your
Are you gonna
basement? Your
Google
parents
it?
will
Are
still
you gonna
pay your
Google your next
bills?
joke? Huh, bro?
Don't worry.
Hey,
Not much will change.
papito.
He won't come after you. Don't worry.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. Back to the comedies. What is a necessary comedy, especially you guys with sons, to show your son? A necessary comedy.
Super Troopers.
Excellent.
How
I
old
don't know.
is
There's
your
not much I won't
Say the
show
kids-
my
let's
son
say-
if he wants to watch it.
Dumb and Dumber.
Let's say the kid is 12.
Oh.
Oh,
Hot Rod.
Okay.
Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb
I
and
haven't
Dumber.
seen
Dumb and Dumber
the Monty
works.
Python stuff yet. Like
Yeah,
Quest
that's
for the Holy Grail's good.
I don't think he liked
Our
Monty
kid
Python.
didn't get Monty Python. It sucks.
Oh.
I hate
I
it.
ain't watching that shit.
Yeah, but Tom, you gotta show him Hot Rod.
Show him.
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod is
Hot Rod's
with Andy
hard.
Samberg.
That's a great one.
I didn't see it. I know it just
No, that's dumb.
What?
It's
You
the
know what?
perfect
I am Inigo
stupid-
Montoya.
How about
I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my
The Princess
vibe.
Bride is amazing.
not
Princess
really
Bride. There we
comedy.
go.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But he loved
did take you on
Airplane.
topic.
Like slapstick works with those dudes.
Thank you.
Yeah, then Hot Rod is great because it's just really stupid, like slightly more modern slapstick. But
I think
it's
the
just
best.
teenage boys love that shit.
That's great.
Thank
And
you,
I think the
Rob.
best is Role Models. I think it's a freaking
That's a good
masterpiece.
one.
Role Models is a
That's
great
just
movie.
that movie.
What
That's
happened to
That's
that
a great
little
movie.
black kid,
Great
man?
movie.
He was
I went through a
hilarious.
phase where he watched that like every day.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's freaking brilliant.
Fuck you, Miss Daisy.
Yeah. He just grabbed my switch or whatever he said. Oh, dirty wings? Come on. It's like
No, Sean William Scott's actually really good in that movie. I like him too.
yeah, he's an interesting story. He like retired shortly after that, and is like now a conservative, like Republican guy living.
Yeah, he's just keeping his money.
Yeah,
He just wants to keep his money. That's fine.
yeah.
Mike, I thank you.
I mean,
twice.
it's better than
Thank you
Dana
again.
Masterson.
Thank you for your donation, Michael Montante.
Appreciate
For
it.
the third time,
Not doxing with an E.
you
He's a
egomaniac.
true patriot, Montana.
He is. He's a true patriot. He's busy watching football, but he sent his best and sent some money, so
Yeah.
we're okay.
There's no internet, I thought, too.
No, he got power back about an hour ago. He
Oh,
let
yeah.
everybody know.
That's good.
I was really worried about that.
Yeah, me too. Praying for him.
Wait, is it this Clover site?
Jake, you might need to give
Well,
up.
Jake,
buddy.
why are you having a hard time donating? I don't understand this. Go fund me.
ASVA? Is that what I'm doing?
Called GoFundMe.
You're a Dem. You should be fucking giving money to shit.
I don't know. I see Operation.
Probably gave
Iron-
$5,000 to the fucking
Iron-
trans people this year.
Curtis, the flight's at 6 a.m.
Dude, it's like 0.005% of trans people. I don't know any. Do you know any?
I do.
Yeah. And you hate them?
No, I don't hate
Did you
it.
have a
I
cast
see them
iron
walking
heart?
around like all conspicuous and shit. It's like, duh, bitch.
Can you
We know.
swim with your cast iron heart? I feel like you just think.
Yeah, I just stick to the ground like a witch when they used to do like witch burning.
No, not like a witch. No, not
Oh,
even
sorry, the
close.
witches float. I forgot.
Burner.
No, witches fly on broomsticks.
Yes, a duck.
You sink with your cast iron heart.
Buenanaga, Cynicalist commune.
I got better.
What does that mean, Buller? Buller. If that's actually you, you're a fucking loser, dude.
No way. I'm a gorilla. He's the man.
Buller's a great guy. I love
bro.
Buller.
If Buller's actually like coaching a fucking D2 college and doing this shit, then fuck yourself.
What are you talking about?
What are you,
Look
like,
at him
that's a
with
pretty
his
cool
fucking-
job.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, stop trying to fucking dox
Garmon.
people, goddammit.
I am allowed to make hypothetical fucking insinuations, bro. That is not doxing. I don't know who the fuck this person is.
Jake, do you have like Down
Just
syndrome
because
or
I'm
something?
good at fucking realizing that fucking Wags is insecure and that the other fucking dude, like,
I'm insecure.
dude, fuck yourself.
Jake, what's your blood alcohol level? Is it over 0.3 or under 0.3?
Now we
It's
see the
under
violence
0.3.
inherent in the system.
Under point. What's yours, bud?
What's mine? 0.0, maybe 1. You know, one Yingling isn't going to put me over the edge. You know, amazing.
It's crazy because you.
What's
talk
he gonna do? Nibble your bum?
What'd you say, Jake?
Hurricane's still coming up, Robbie V. They're still forming up.
I know, man. Hey, how'd you make out? You all right?
Ah, we're good.
Good, man. Good.
Did all right.
Good.
Is there another one coming around for real?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna hit the Mexicans, but not us.
Yeah, hit Mexico.
Get rid of your
That's
Trump
crazy, dude.
flag.
Huh?
Get rid of your Trump flag. FEMA has a problem with Trump flags.
Yeah, I know. I quit that last election. I don't hang that shit out anymore. It ain't worth it.
Cause more problems.
Danny,
again.
real quick,
I
I
just
want
vote.
to
and
congratulate
that's all
you.
that matters.
I want to congratulate you on yet another successful event celebrating the troops. We've had a drunk couple arguing over the plot of the bridge over River. You know what I'm trying to say. We've had Jake yelling and screaming about God knows what. A couple of veterans. Robbie V kind of looks like Robin from Batman with, I don't know what that's going on over there. But again, congratulations on such a successful event.
Thank you, Blind Mike's penis.
Thank you,
Love
Mike
you.
Penis.
I know we're an hour and a half in, but are an hour 15 in? Do you still want to sing the national anthem, or it sounds like your voice is still a little under the weather, huh?
Yeah, no, we do. No.
That's all right. Well, we appreciate it. We understand. Thoughts and prayers.
I heard John Rocker was going to sing it.
Rumors are swirling, yeah.
Hey, you're over 500 now, right?
Oh,
Danny,
are we?
500?
Let's take a look. Oh, I should be keeping a better eye on this. Let me see. We're at correct. 500 exactly. So let's get some shout outs here.
All right.
I just realized that Fax has no idea who John Rocker is.
Thank
Which
you,
is
thank
fine.
you, Kevin. Thank
you're
you,
young,
thank
but-
you, Alice. Thank you again, Michael Montante, for the 15th time. Robbie B, Mikey Grab Bags, Jonathan, Kevin, Luke. Thank you, Mark.
It's not the apostles.
$500. Yep.
So I'd like to
Matthew,
point out
Mark,
that it's
Luke,
not
and John.
the Kevin isn't Kevin from Bristol.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and
Different Kevin.
John, and Kevin from Bristol.
Damn it. There's another Kevin too.
Yeah, I was the other Kevin. I'm actually not Chad, but that's all right.
Son of a bitch, Chad.
I got a
gone.
real job. I can't get doxxed. I can't.
You
be having
do
that.
look more like a Kevin than a Chad. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I gotta run, but hey, happy Veterans Day to all.
All right, thanks, Robbie V. Thanks for hopping on.
All right, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie.
Yeah.
See you, Robbie V.
Talk to you later, buddy. See ya.
So what ship were you on, Danny?
I was on the USS Peleliu LHA-5 out of San Diego, and then the USS Gary FFG 51 out of Yokosuka, Japan. And then my last 2 years, I was an admiral's aide in DC in the Navy Yard.
Nice. You got to go to Japan?
Yeah, I lived there for a year. It was four deployed. It was
Oh, shit.
it was interesting. Yeah, I was like the tallest guy
Nice.
there.
That's what I joined for.
To travel?
That's awesome. Yeah. Except I didn't.
Where were you
I was
at?
gonna say Japanese.
I
monk.
traveled, but I was mostly in North Carolina and traveled to Iraq. Nice tour. Couple tours there.
How many did you total? You did two tours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And you said you were a medic?
Yep. Corpsman.
Medic.
Oh man, that's tough. You Kandahar, Bagram? What?
Huh? I was in. I went all the first time. I was flew to Kuwait, and we drove all the way straight to Baghdad. And then the second time, I was went to. We did Fallujah.
Oof.
Damn.
Sorry to hear that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. But good times, for sure. I wouldn't take it back for anything. I had so much fun with those guys. And I got to go on the USS Kennedy.
There you go.
They were right when they decommissioned it. We got to go when I got back the second time. We got to go on the USS Kennedy for Fleet Week, and we got to go to New York and Boston. So,
wow.
Oh damn.
Fleet Week's a good time.
times. Fucking blast, dude. Oh my god.
So
Unbelievable times.
what did they do with the Kennedy? It seems like a fairly modern, in the last 40 years, huge aircraft carrier. It seems like.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. It'd probably be a better question to ask.
And that was a
My
steam.
guy.
That
I
was
don't know
the,
what they do
that
with
was that was a steam carrier. That was steam powered too. That wasn't a nuke.
Really?
So what do they do with them after?
That's crazy. Yeah.
But the Enterprise is older than that, and that was a nuke, right?
Yes, but the Kennedy was a CVN, right? Wait a second.
They all do F-18s at a minimum, right?
They do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, USS Kennedy is now. It's in Philadelphia. It's in So there's a whole mothball fleet in Philadelphia.
You think
It's
that
actually-
thing would be in Boston, but where would they put it, right?
Well, just there's a whole harbor in Philly where it's all these old ships that just sit there. It's
Oh,
pretty
no
creepy.
shit.
If you've ever gone on a decom ship, that is because a lot of them get sold. Like the frigates, my old ship, the Gary, which actually was in the Hunt for Red October, got sold to Turkey. So a lot of these old ships get sold to
No shit.
friendly or at least non-enemy countries. But some of the larger ones, like the aircraft carriers, because only a couple countries actually have aircraft carriers and know how to handle them and have the capabilities to maintain them. So a lot of those just go and basically sit and hang out. There's two down in Newport actually, or at least there were. It's crazy. Like they're like ghost ships because they basically strip them. They take anything, anything that's worth anything. So brass, metal, all sorts of stuff. They just strip them way down, and they're just these shells of themselves that sit there. But they still paint them though because they want to try to minimize the rust in case they ever have to pull them back out. So they actually still do a level of level of maintenance on them, or at least they used to. But a lot of them become reefs too. They'll go out and take them.
Artificial
use them for
reefs,
target practice. Yeah. I think that's what happened to my first ship. That became a reef off of Hawaii.
It's like too bad because I thought like the old Iowa class battleships, great promotion for the Navy, like big badass like battle cannon ships were. At least when I was a kid, I was thrilled with the idea of the New Jersey and the Missouri and all those. It's like, I guess they don't use any of them. I guess there's no reason anymore.
You're like my parents' age.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm 51. I'm somebody's parents' age, definitely. Yeah. But I mean that was still a thing because there were still a lot of World War II guys around, in the 70s and 80s. So that was just like what were the most recent naval battles were in World War II?
Tell the
Yeah,
people
right.
where you proposed to me.
Oh, on the Massachusetts in
Fall
in
River.
Fall River. Yeah, that's right.
Battleship Cove, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
And what did you do? You did it with a joke.
I did.
Yeah. You said not to put you under the gun.
Oh,
God.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
hell
god.
yeah.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Even your proposal was a bit.
Hell yeah, Tom.
Yeah, yes. I
Mazel
guess.
tov.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry about that. Oh God.
I'd like to commission you into my Navy.
I have that
Did I clear
memory
that with you,
forever.
Alice? Jesus.
No.
So,
you have-
so Tom was
Did you pull
making.
did you pull the down periscope later? You're almost out of uniform.
Yeah. Oh, I hope I stopped with Navy references after that.
So you're making dad jokes before you're even a dad. It's great.
Yeah. Oh,
Technically, he might have been a dad at that point in time.
Oh.
what is that supposed to be?
Somewhere out
Oh
there.
jeez.
You never know in the military.
Mhm.
So you're saying he wasn't shooting blanks?
Never has. We're 5 kids deep.
yeah, he has a lot of kids.
He has to prove that he's not
true,
gay
Buller.
over and
Not
over
true, Buller.
again.
Not true,
Yeah.
Buller.
Buller's such a retard. There's so many fucking women on the ship now, Buller. It's not fucking.
That's bad luck, isn't it?
I actually heard that like some of my buddies said like some of the girls would sell themselves for sex on the ships.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up. I on my first ship, so this was like 2005. They got rid of cash on board ship, so you could buy
Yeah.
food and snacks and stuff in the ship store, uniform items, whatever. But
Yeah.
they got rid of cash altogether. And basically, it's when those chips were first coming out. So like how the credit cards have
Yeah.
the little metal chip
Same
now.
with us, even over there.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
There was no
And so
cash. There was no cash for us either.
the-
CAD
but the-
cards? CAD?
Yeah, CAD card. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're right. But it was built into your ID, so you had to have your
Right.
your ID, and the chip was in there. But on the ship, we had special ATMs, and so you could use the ATM to put money on it from your bank account. But you could also do what they called a chip-to-chip transfer. So say Wagon and I were on the ship, and I wanted to give him money, or vice versa if he owed me. Basically, it's like 2004 Venmo. So
wow.
basically my first ship was a large one. It was over 2,000 people, and they had Marines on it. It was 5,000. They basically a few of the women started selling themselves, and their pimps were other guys on the ship, and they would do these chip to chip transfers. So basically they broke up an entire prostitution ring on the ship where they were just transferring the money from chip to chip, which is even stupider than cash because it was all traceable.
Super
So
cool.
when they figured out that SM2 Rodriguez was getting like 10 grand a week from the fucking ATM on board,
man.
it's like, bro, you're in
were all over that.
you're in the Gulf of Oman. Like, what are you doing?
I was gonna say, Danny, how many chips did you go through?
I wore mine out a few times.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
Were there
Cat card Venmo.
were there
Yeah.
bars on the boat or like beers?
No, so the U.S. Navy, I think, is the only dry Navy. There may be others by now, but that was the great thing. Whenever we do like an exchange, like a couple times overseas, we'd meet up with like the Canadians. I spent some time, just on the ships for the Japanese Navy, which of course is it's not an official Navy. It's all forward. It's all self-defense. They're not allowed to have like a active, they're not allowed to attack anybody. But all the other ships, the British, I mean, they would, I think they'd ration it out. You can only, like, especially out to sea, you can only have a certain amount to drink because you don't want everybody hammered and you get into a fight or, whatever. But yeah, there's drinking in pretty much every other Navy. We definitely,
July,
I mean, it certainly didn't stop everybody. And then the one time that we would get beer is if you were out to sea for a consecutive, I don't know if it's changed, if you remember this, Wagon, but I think it was every 45 days was a beer day. So they actually did have beer on the ship locked up specially. So when you hit that amount of time out to sea, they'd break it out and everybody would get beer. I think I only actually got that once because they tried to avoid ever having to do it. So they would pull in like the day before you'd have beer day, but then you'd have Liberty, so you get to go out in town anyway. But
yeah, the only time I was on a ship was Fleet Week. We flew to Kuwait both times.
There was no booze.
We got to drink on 4th of July once. It was nice.
Oh, nice.
I was on a private
there
yacht.
was like private contractors had this like spot on the base though, where they were like making booze and shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. You get fucked up there, but
Little moonshine.
yeah.
I did not serve liver asked. I was on a private yacht though. I was the second mate, and I'd wear the whites and the bars and all this stuff.
Nice.
And the worst feeling was when people would thank me for my service, and I was like, please. It's the shittiest feeling when you're just some fucking guy working on a rich person's yacht, and everyone's thanking you for your service. But I did do did pretty well with the ladies, just wearing the uniform.
I was gonna say
but,
the party's got to be off the
worst feeling in
chain.
world.
Yeah.
Men of Honor didn't count, Kevin?
No, Men of Honor didn't count. I did pretty well in that too, but more with the
I
guys.
actually rewatched that the other day after some of your stories. That's
really?
I love that movie. That's one of the first DVDs I ever owned.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
What was that? 2004.
Yeah, it's back there. It was originally called Navy Diver. They changed the name before the film came out. It was Navy Diver the whole time shooting it, and they changed it to Men of Honor. But the guy, Carl Brashear, the guy who the movie was about, meeting him in person was incredible. His stories were every day he'd tell the whole cast a story, and it fucking blew us away. If you want to read up on Carl Brashear,
down, dude, that was sick.
What's that?
But continue. My bad.
No. Well, by all means, Jake, go on.
Hey,
No,
thank you guys.
I got hired to do a fucking video shoot in Park City, Utah, and there was the dude from Black Hawk Down, and this other guy who was
Josh Hartnett.
Nuts. What was it? Josh
Was it
Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett?
No, that's the actor.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, you mean the real life person?
I mean the real life person.
Oh, even better. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the real life guy from, and
American Hero.
It's like, guys, I met Josh Hartnett. No.
Oh, you're the Black Hawk Down guy. He used to go to like the military bases and do like these speaking engagements.
Did you? Like this was a random thing for the Olympics when they were in Vancouver. And so like I ended up in Salt Lake City with the dude. Like it was through PenFed. Do you guys know what PenFed is? Like that bank. Okay, thank you. One person knows.
I have an account, yeah.
So we went out there, and like it was a joint venture, and I had to I got to like listen to this Black Hawk Down dude and this other guy who was in Vietnam who stepped on a bungee like stick and had like sepsis in his foot, and then escaped from his medical tent and got on a helicopter, and they were like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, take me back to base. And I believed him, I mean, there's no reason for me not to believe him. So he was the craziest dude that I've ever met in my entire life.
All right, fellas, by the way, it's been great talking to you guys. Danny, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Alice.
I'm gonna
Always
take
great
off
to have
too.
you
Thank
guys
you,
are, you're a staple
Thanks,
every
guys.
year. We appreciate you joining and donating. So
You're a
thank you.
patriot, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, did mine go through?
Let's do a quick fundraising check here before the Shaddocks have to go. We are at 550. So let's see. We have.
There should
thank
be.
you, Mark. Thank you, Marguerite. Thank you very much. $50 from Marguerite.
There we go.
I gotta go too. My kid needs to go to bed. I'm putting my 9-year-old to bed. Her birthday was yesterday, so I'm gonna go read a book.
All right, Kevin. Well, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate everybody.
Thanks for doing this, Danny.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Service.
Thank you. I know
nice
it's
talking to you
Monday
guys.
night. Could be a little
Kevin,
low energy,
thank
but really appreciate the support and everybody hopping on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys are
Danny,
good guys.
Kevin.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Should I end this? I'm
No.
exhausted.
How you doing?
Yeah. I think it's time.
Did I ruin it? I'm
We got
sorry.
Luke and Jake.
No, you're
We've
fine,
had a
Jake.
good-
You're fine. You're fine.
Happy Veterans Day, boys.
All right. Thank you, Wagon. Thanks, Jake.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night,
Happy
man.
Veterans Day.
Gentlemen,
Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
I did. Apparently, I did clear the room. Jesus Christ. Sorry,
The
Danny.
sergeant looking up, our heroes bravely answered yes, and then they stood him up. He jumped right out into the blast, static line on hook. He ain't gonna jump no more. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. The sergeant looking up, our